You're still watching Your Week in 60 Minutes with me, Olebogeng Kgosilentswe, right here on Newzroom Afrika, channel 405. The Monetary Policy Committee voted unanimously to keep interest rates on hold. Reserve Bank Governor Lesetja Kganyago had this to say on Thursday.
The July events and the pandemic are likely to have lasting effects on investor confidence and job creation, impeding recovery in labor-intensive sectors hardest hit by the lockdowns. GDP is expected to grow by 1.7% in 2022 and by 1.8% in 2023. Overall, and after revisions, the risks to the medium-term domestic growth outlook are assessed to be balanced, as most of the bounce back from the recovery is now behind us. High export prices are expected to fade, while very weak job creation will slow household consumption. Investment will remain constrained by the still limited energy supply and ongoing policy uncertainty. The faster vaccine rollout presents upside risks to the growth outlook. The bank's forecast reflects higher headline inflation for the rest of this year before moderating in 2022. Compared to the July meeting and taking into account higher household consumption and less investment from the recent GDP revisions, the output gap is narrower historically and over the forecast period. While economic activity continues to expand over the forecast period, a rise in core inflation is moderated by the current strength of the exchange rate and modest unit labor costs. The risks to the short-term inflation outlook are assessed to the upside. We expect the economy to grow by an upwardly revised 5.3% this year, despite the much larger negative effect on output than was previously estimated from the July unrest. Our revised estimate for third quarter economic growth is negative 1.2% compared to the previous negative 0.5%. Output in the manufacturing sector fell by 8% in July alone. Mining was up 4.1%, while land freight transport fell by 5.0%, and retail output was down by 11.2%.
Always a skeptic when it comes to the issue of GDP forecast. The GDP forecast for this year, 5.3%, quite a good one, but maybe too optimistic.
Forecast is informed by the trade-weighted average based on South Africa's trade partners. And these are partners such as China, the US, India, and that's where we're seeing a lot of global economic growth at an aggregated level is actually coming from. It's also attributed to why we've seen the uptick in high commodity prices, which have served us well from a current account point of view. So the resultant impact of that is that there's a permeation in terms of demand for South Africa's commodity prices. And of course, we would know that even the strength of the South African rand, it's largely a commodities-based currency. And so that's where we are able to derive the benefit and the permeation of some of those multiplier effects in terms of growth forecasts. However, the inflation environment and also the aggregate demand environment will continue to be constrained due to, of course, the rate of vaccination rollouts that we presently have in South Africa, which is not necessarily where we need it to be in order to achieve population immunity. But at the same time, because of these structural blockages that we're experiencing. Additionally, there's also another component that it is indeed an election year. And oftentimes when it comes to efficiencies or from a public sector point of view, those tend to be disturbed a bit. And so those may be factors to take into account in terms of future forecasts and what it looks like for the South African economy.
Yet another busy week for political parties across the country. On Friday, the Congress of the People launched its manifesto while EFF leader Julius Malema was out and about in his hotly contested hometown of Seshego. Our reporters, Belane Pachadi and Dumauli Mutlaudi, have more.
Deputy President Willie Madisha delivering a very impassioned plea to COPE supporters to say that if they are elected into positions of governance in the local municipality, they must not forget about the people. They must be seen and they must be heard, and they must be active within the communities that are affected by very many issues that he had also highlighted from the podium. Those include issues of raw effluent flowing into homes and people basically sleeping in areas that were designated to be sewage facilities like toilets. But he also admitted that COPE has been on a holiday, but says that COPE is back. Now, Ndatamadisha, thank you very much for speaking to us here on Newzroom Africa. You say COPE has been on holiday. Where has COPE been on holiday?
Well, we are back. I want to emphasize a number of challenges had arisen, and we have dealt with those particular challenges. And that is why hundreds of thousands of people from all the provinces of our country have come back. They have instructed us that by all means possible, we must take them to local government elections, and we are ready. We're going there.
How did you address those challenges? A lot has been reported about perhaps personality clashes or clashes over leadership style or leadership positions. Your name was thrown in the mix, Ntate Lokotas was thrown in the mix, saying that there was perhaps disagreements that were happening at the top, which then hamstrung the party down at grassroots. How did you come together, and how are you moving forward in this new chapter?
Yes, there were challenges, leadership challenges, which came as a result of the past. History, the people know our history, that after we were formed, one particular party sent its own people, threatened COPE, using the weaknesses of the people who were in the leadership positions, who stole. And they were told, those people, that you either do something that is wrong or you go to jail. Now, those are kind of things. Some of them were made ambassadors. Those are the kind of things which COPE faced all the time. But we've been able to defeat that. And that is why the people of COPE are here, and we are going to the elections. Yeah.
And going to the elections, I see that you say that you are prioritizing youth. That's one of the key things in the manifesto. You want communities that are safe. You want communities where youth can also be given opportunity. What is your plan in terms of ensuring that if elected into power, you will deliver on that particular promise?
We say that women and youth must not be put at the back. They must be there. They must not play the second fiddle. They must be there, be the main role players. We're looking at, for example, the unemployment rate, to say the youth are forgotten, and yet these are the people who occupy more than 70% of unemployment rate. We talk about women, it's more than 45% of unemployment rate. Now that is why we say that they must play a major role, and so that the country, throughout the country, all the provinces, we can be able to deal with the problems that are faced by our country. We have come up with programs. We have come up, whether it's there at Parliament or outside, with programs of action that will be able to take us forward. In municipalities, we have said that whether we deal with storage, whether we deal with this particular area, the youth in South Africa will be able to take this thing forward. And we are quite confident we'll be able to win.
We've seen. Thank you very much for that. And that was the Congress of the People's Willie Madisha, just delivering a message to those who will be put forward as candidates for councillorship as well as mayoral candidates, to say that the days of people being elected and then being absent from communities that have put them into power are long gone. This is part of the manifesto that has been launched here by the Congress of the People, saying that they want accountability and they want visibility for those who are tasked with rolling out service delivery for the people of South Africa. For Newzroom Africa, Channel 405, I'm Tumawala Mutlaudi, just outside Kempton Park on the east rand of Johannesburg.
The battle for the popular Polokwane township of Seshego is on. Many wards here are led by the ANC, but wards 10 and 13 are in the hands of the economic freedom fighters. In Ward 13, where the party's leader, Julius Malema, hails, only 4,000 voters cast their ballots. In that, just over 2,000 votes, equaling 51%, gave the EFF a narrow victory. The party advocated for this land here and named it Juju Valley. Provincial Secretary George Rapela says services brought in the ward is a true model of service delivery.
The support is increasing due to the activities that are happening here in this ward and Ward 10 as a model of what kind of a ward and the government of EFF will be doing. We have been building houses here for people that need houses. We have the Commander-in-Chief had opened about 5 houses. Those are the type of houses that the EFF will be giving to people. They have tarred roads here. In fact, almost all roads that are leading towards schools in Ward 13, they have been tarred.
While the residents here say they are grateful for the stands they received, they need water and proper roads. They also say electricity can come at a later stage while other basics are prioritized.
While
the EFF makes promises to develop the area, just close by, the Patriotic Alliance is canvassing to unseat the Red Berets in their stronghold. The PA leader in Limpopo paints a picture that his party will surprise many. The Patriotic Alliance, which has 2 seats in the city of Johannesburg, scored 62% of the votes in Ward 18 in Eldorado Park, Johannesburg, up from 3% in 2016. Pat Mabandla says here in Seshego and Limpopo at large, many wards will go his party's way.
I understand people voted for the EFF, for the ANC and all that. It was because they never had an opportunity of another alternative. So now we are bringing an alternative. We've got the best councillor candidate in this ward, especially in Ward 13, where the EFF was dominating. And we are quite sure that we're going to get a number of votes.
Campaigning is intensifying here in Seshego, where the ANC still counts its strength. But the EFF wants its popularity to show in the votes. A difficult task lies ahead for many political parties, with the ANC bringing its Deputy President David Mabuza to the area on Saturday to convince the voters. For Newzroom Afrika, Channel 405, I'm Belane Pakhadi in Seshego, Limpopo.
Still ahead, we take a look at how South Africa commemorated Heritage Day on Friday. Stay with us.